Hello everyone and welcome back to the Shipyards. I'm Commander Exorcist. It's been roughly 1 week since the 1.207 Apex Survival Update arrived in Space Engineers, and players across the world are building the farms of their dreams while others are finding the best way to survive in radioactive storms. While much of the attention from this update has focused on farming, in this video I'm going to show you some quick and easy ways to locate forageable food items on planetary surfaces. Spawning into a survival mode game in Space Engineers puts the player inside the awesome new rover as opposed to the classic drop pod. And if that wasn't enough to get you excited, you also spawn with 4 kelp snacks to help you sustain your efforts. Keen wants you to suffer, but they don't want you to die too quickly. But when it comes to food, is farming the only way? What about plants growing in the wild? The Apex Survival Update introduced 4 forageable food types into the game: vegetables, fruit, grain, and mushrooms. These food types can be found naturally in varying quantities across some of the planets, including Earth-like, Perdum, and the alien world. As mentioned in the patch notes for this release, Earth-like has the most abundant food resources. Perdum is much more sparse, and the alien world has large amounts of mushrooms. But how hard is it to find them? Actually, it's not that difficult. Barely an inconvenience, as some would say. Once you're on the ground and in your rover, simply switch to the external camera and zoom out until you can see well above the horizon. As you drive along the planet's surface, keep an eye out for bright green foliage. These are the forageable food items. Vegetables, grain, and fruit will always show up on the planet's surface with this bright, distinctive color, and usually in areas where they would grow in nature, primarily the greener and more lush environments. Mushrooms, on the other hand, are much more difficult to find. In fact, there's not really an effective trick to identifying them from high camera angles like their counterparts. This is because mushrooms appear exclusively on a dead-type log that doesn't spawn in until you're close to it, in contrast to the green bushes we've seen that spawn at the edge of the engineer's field of view. Now, as you can see in this example from the Earth-like world, the wood containing the mushrooms disappears and reappears relatively quickly when you move away from it. Here's a similar example on the alien world where there is no indication that we're approaching a mushroom collection until we're immediately upon it. Now, on the Earth-like world where vegetables, grain, and fruit are abundant, this is not much of a problem. However, on the alien world where mushrooms are the only source of forageable food, it does add a bit of challenge to the survival. The best way to deal with the spawning of mushroom plots on the alien world is to keep your camera angle tighter around the rover and scan the horizon immediately in front of you. You're looking for brown wood, not bushes, that will spawn in quickly, so stay alert. The foraging mechanics in Space Engineers are brand new, so I expect them to grow, no pun intended, and evolve over time. For now, these are the best ways that I've come up with for foraging and locating food items on the planet's surface. By collecting these materials, you'll have the resources necessary to sustain your life and obtain seeds required to grow them in farm plots. And unlike real life, all fruits and mushrooms in Space Engineers are safe to eat. We promise. If you have any suggestions on how to make foraging easier, then be sure to leave your suggestions in the comments below. I'll be back soon with more Space Engineers. Until then, I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there.